Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week, we're going to talk about organizing tools and small parts, and we'd like to thank...
What are you naming this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been back and forth 2 or 3 times. It's like small parts organization.
Seems wordy.
Organizing
For
small
you.
parts and tools. I don't know. Anyway, depending on what we name it, we'd still like to thank Art Hendrickson for liking and sharing the podcast. We appreciate it. And Art wrote us that last week when we talked about smart door locks, that another reason to check for right-handed or left-handed locks is it puts the cylinder in the correct position so that the pins and the springs are at the top of the cylinder, and that helps prevent debris from getting into the plug that holds the pins, which could cause the pins to stick. So when you install your lock and you put your key in, the cut side of the key should be facing up.
Oh, smart.
The Gerstner Company, it's Gerstner, was founded in 1906 and made some of the first wooden toolboxes and tool chests in the U.S. And they still make wood toolboxes and chests and other wood storage cases.
Cool.
Some of the first metal toolboxes in the U.S. were made by Kennedy Manufacturing, Kennedy. They were founded in 1911, and they still make professional-grade toolboxes, tool chests, and metal pegboard for tool storage.
Cool.
If you do projects around the house, you can quickly have a lot of small parts that are hard to organize if you didn't keep the original packaging.
Well, it's amazing how much junk you get.
Yeah, it was funny. My dad in his condo he called it the junk drawer, where he had all the...
I think everybody has a junk drawer.
Amazing, all the nuts and bolts and screws and nails. But if you keep the original packaging, like when you pick up nails or screws in those cardboard boxes, it has the description and usually a picture of what it is, and they stack pretty well. When I was investing in real estate and I carried nuts and bolts and screws and nails and wall anchors in our work car, I used a plastic milk crate to organize all these boxes. And what I did was I took clear packing tape and wrapped it around the sides and the bottom, and that held them together. So when I was pulling them out and sorting through them and using them, they would last rather than having to put them into another storage case.
A milk crate?
Milk crate.
What do you mean by that? How old are you?
So you can still get milk crates like at the home centers, and I think they're usually called like storage crates now.
Okay.
But they're usually square. Well, the ones I used, they were square, about 12 inches tall and wide. And
yeah, because I looked these up when you said milk crates earlier, and I wouldn't call it a milk crate. It's just a crate.
Yeah, I think they call it
a storage crate.
Plastic storage crates. And they have handles, so they're really convenient to hold things. And in fact, if you're in a cold area like us, Chicago here, I use a milk crate in the back of the trunk to hold my windshield solvent in the winter, and then like a jug of, like an ice melt or something for traction.
I've seen your car.
Now I organize nuts and bolts, screws, nails, anchors in clear plastic totes on shelving in my garage. And I try to keep all of those types of small parts in their original packaging when I can, because they stack well and you can group them. And if
it's really hard for you, though, because you love tearing open a package.
Well, I love when I get mailed something. I love to open it right away.
Anything.
Pull out my pocket
bags
knife.
Of food I've seen you rip open down the middle because you're excited to open it up.
And I am masculine, so I can't rip stuff open. And if you get nuts and bolts in plastic containers, many of them have a hole for hanging, which is great for pegboard. Clear mason jars are handy for storing small parts if they're out of their original package. And you can group nails, nuts and bolts, and wall anchors, each in their own jar. The top is wide, and it's easy to pour out to find the part you want or the size you need. You can also use glass spaghetti jars or similar glass jars rather than canning jars, and then just use a razor blade to remove the label.
Right. Well, the jars I've kept recently have been good for videos when we're doing demonstrations with the drain openers.
How to dissolve hair with a drain opener.
So jars are handy.
If you keep jars with a lot of parts that you pour out to find a piece, A funnel with a wide opening is handy so you could refill the jar. And I like keeping a sturdy piece of cardboard that I pour my parts on.
Yes, you love cardboard.
And then it's easy to get it back into the funnel so you can get it into your jar.
A collapsible funnel is good too.
Those are great for storage. I have a plastic small parts organizer that I keep in the car for projects we do. It has a clear cover and sections that can be arranged with removable dividers. And I keep wire connectors, electrical tape, stem washers, nuts and bolts, tacks, finishing nails, wall anchors, all types of small parts in it. So it organizes everything very well.
You've had that thing forever.
Yeah, and it keeps everything in one place.
Yeah.
The Plano Company, it's Plano, started out in the early 1950s making plastic tackle boxes, and now they make small parts organizers with clear locking lids. They have a Stow and Go Rack system. It's STOW, just the letter N, and then capital GO. It's a large organizer that holds 3 clear plastic organizers that stack on top of each other. And then on top of that, there's a toolbox with a handle. So this gives you 39 different compartments to hold small parts. And companies like Stanley, Craftsman, Rigid, Milwaukee, DeWalt, Husky, and Klein Tools all have small parts organizers. Most of them have clear locking lids and handles, so you can either use it for storing in your home or for traveling to a project. And you can check out all the different styles online at the home centers or hardware store. The Container Store also has small parts organizers and a nice selection of storage bins, totes, and stackable containers. And you can get small, open, stackable bins that set on a shelf or a workbench. Wall mount storage bins have a rail that mounts to a wall, and then these bins interlock, and you can fill those with small parts.
That's nice.
Or you can get a wall mount unit with tilt bins, which is good for small parts. Totes and 5-gallon buckets are great for tools that you don't use a lot, like large pipe wrenches, pull and pry bars, hand saws. And this is a good time of year to pick up totes at the home centers because they're usually on sale after Christmas.
It's good to know.
I have large clear totes with big handles that I organize my tools by projects. I have 2 totes that are filled with my paint trays, tray liners, painter's tape, rollers, roller covers, stirring sticks, sanding sponges, sea sponges, paint brushes. I've got packages of thin plastic drop cloths, paint can openers, compound knives, and painter's tools. I have 1 tote with my plumbing parts, and I've got fill valves, wax rings, non-wax rings, different types of flush valve flappers and seals. I have another tote with my soldering tools, so this is a smaller one. Got a couple propane tanks, a propane torch head, a torch igniter, solder, flux, copper pipe and fittings, sandpaper, and tubing cutters. I also have a couple stiff cardboard boxes I came across that I use for storage, and it fits my shelving really well. One is filled with mouse traps, mosquito repellent, and insect killer, and I've got that labeled on the
Death
outside.
box?
On the yeah, I used a magic marker and put a skull and crossbones on the outside of that one. And then I have another box with glues, epoxies, and other adhesives. Totes that have locking lids or lids that fit well and are stackable make it easier to organize. I measured my shelving and got totes that fit the depth and the height of the shelves that they're on. I like 5-gallon buckets to carry tools for a project and for storage. Large tools that you don't use a lot, like pipe wrenches, large adjustable wrenches, demolition tools, hand saws, hacksaws, fit well in a 5-gallon bucket, and you can store them vertically.
They're also good for scrap pieces of wood or pipe.
Right, yeah.
Left over.
I use a 5-gallon bucket for my tuck pointing tools, and if I have an open bag of mortar, I'll put it in a 5-gallon bucket to keep it off the ground and to keep the mortar from spilling. 5-gallon buckets are good for extension cords and drills without a case. Reciprocating saws fit in there well. And companies like Leak Tight and Gamma Seal have screw top lids for 5-gallon buckets. Leak Tight is Leaktite, and Gamma Seal is Gamma, capital Seal. The screw top lids are a lot easier to open than the standard lid that snaps closed on top of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes hard to pry open. And they come in two parts. There's an adapter that snaps onto the top of the 5-gallon bucket, and then the lid screws down onto the adapter.
Mm-hmm.
And these are good for keeping your tools or whatever you have protected. It's also good in cold climates for open bags of ice melt, like calcium chloride,
right,
to seal it off from moisture.
Mm-hmm.
5-gallon buckets stack well, or you can leave them with the lid off for longer tools, that way you can see what's in the bucket. Or if you're stacking them, you can label the side of the 5-gallon bucket. There are 5-gallon bucket tool bags that hang on the outside of the bucket, so you can have multiple tools on the outside. It's handy for lightweight tools, and then you can throw power tools or extension cords inside it.
Mm-hmm.
The Plano company makes a 5-gallon bucket topper. It covers the top of the bucket and has 2 areas of compartments with a clear lid, so you can have small parts in there. Bucket Boss has an organizer that sets into a 5-gallon bucket. And there are also bucket seats, padded seats, that you can put on top of a 5-gallon bucket.
Really?
How cool is that?
Super cool.
Depending on how many tools you have or plan on getting, you can have a couple bags or boxes to organize your tools. And you can also group them by different types of projects. If you're primarily going to be using your tools in your home, a large tool chest will help you stay organized. A tool chest on wheels is convenient. And look at tool chests with tops that can be used as a bench when you're comparing models.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Craftsman tool chest in my garage.
Congratulations.
It has 7 drawers and a large open area on the bottom for large tools.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that the narrow drawers get filled up pretty fast and that it's hard to open it. So I would look at tool chests with large drawers when you're comparing them. You're going to have more options on what you can store inside of it.
Yeah.
When I first started investing in real estate, my business partner and I had a couple small toolboxes that we kept all our basic tools in, and we would keep the larger tools or tools we didn't use as much in milk crates or 5-gallon buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And it really became a hassle over time as we collected tools to try to dig through the bottom of these toolboxes to find the screwdriver or pliers you wanted.
Right.
So we started using a tool bag that had pockets for screwdrivers and pliers, which made it easier to find the tool you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of the bags were hard to open or keep open. So now I primarily use an open top tool bag. Very easy to see your tools and keep them organized.
Right.
To organize small tools like precision screwdrivers or delicate tools like stud finders or electrical testers, you can get canvas bags or pouches that clip to a tool bag.
Mm-hmm.
Klein Tools, Milwaukee, and DeWalt all have zippered pouches and bags.
They come in different sizes, too.
Right. If you have socket wrenches and sockets you need to organize,
and who doesn't?
There's a company called Montezuma. It's Montezuma. They have portable shop boxes that have pins to hold your sockets and wrenches and other tools. They also have carts and tool chests.
Okay.
If you travel with your tools, you can get a rolling tool bag or a toolbox. Klein Tools has a rolling tool bag. It has wheels and a telescopic handle, so you can pull this upstairs or go over rough terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And their box is set up like a tool bag, so it's solid, but you open up the lid and you've got pouches, so it looks like a tool bag on the inside. And you also have pouches on the outside. You open up a cover. DeWalt has a mobile toolbox. It's a toolbox with a telescopic handle, and you can add more toolboxes to this. So it's kind of modular. Milwaukee, Stanley, and Ryobi also have rolling toolboxes. And I've seen more toolkits that come with a tool bag or a case at the home centers, especially if you shop online, which is a nice way to get basic tools and have them organized if you're a new homeowner.
Yep.
If you're shopping for power tools, take a look at the kits that come with a carrying bag or a case. It's a great way to store and carry your power tools.
Mm-hmm.
And the hard cases will stack well on shelving, or you can set them vertical, and it's not going to take up a lot of room.
Yeah. With a bag, you have a tendency to throw them around, I think.
Right.
And your tools can get banged up.
And throw a lot of extra stuff in there.
Right. Do you have anything else to add?
You can check out our garage organization episode for more tips on storing tools and other stuff.
In your garage.
Right.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 15 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fixit Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.